Good evening once again, everyone. I am Taiwo Olawemi. I believe you all know me, right? And we are so glad to have with us our distinguished facilitator for today, Florence Mulenga, who is a pharmacy student like yourselves, right? I recall that this morning when we shared her profile with us, some persons were flabbergasted, so to speak, by merely reading all that she has done so far, all that she has achieved as a pharmacy student. And it definitely begged for comparison to an extent. And I could sense that some persons were thinking in their minds, oh, I am also a pharmacy student. Am I a pharmacy student? Is she still a pharmacy student? Is she seriously a pharmacy student who has been able to amass all of these recognitions and accomplishments? Yeah, it's beautiful to see. It's beautiful to see a student accomplish this. It's beautiful to see a pharmacy student accomplish this. It's beautiful to see an African pharmacy student accomplish this. And the goal of today's fireside chat with Florence Mulenga is to hear from her, to learn from her, to have her share with us her journey so far, her journey in innovation, her journey in pharmacy school, as well as her career aspirations, so that those of us who are unclear regarding our path can get some light, so to speak, from the shining light that she currently is. So I'll quickly run through her profile. Florence Mulenga is an award winning innovator, a science and tech advocate, a pharmacy student in Zimbabwe. She's also a programs officer at the Zimbabwean National STEM Foundation. She's also a talk show host. Florence Mulenga was born on the 14th of January 1999 in Lusaka, Zambia. All January borns say hi. January borns like me. Florence is currently pursuing her bachelor's degree in pharmacy at the University of Zambia. Like I mentioned, she is a programs officer for the Zambian National STEM Foundation. Florence conceptualized an anti asthma body spray, which could potentially prevent asthmatic patients from having asthmatic attacks while also using the body spray as a daily deodorant. Interesting. This innovative concept was pitched in several this innovative concept was pitched in several competitions within Zambia and in South Africa in 2019. And she competed against 15 students all over Zambia in a competition called the FEM BioBiz competition, which was sponsored by the Southern African Network for Biosciences. Florence's body spray concept emerged victorious in the competition, and she was awarded the Best Student Startup Idea nationwide with a sponsored trip to South Africa to attend the African Women Innovation Empowerment Summit. Interesting. Some of the awards and achievements she's got include Best Student Startup at the Zambia Entrepreneurship Summit, Young Pharmaceutical Innovator of the Year 2020, awarded by the Pharmaceutical Society of Zambia, just like our own PSN, the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria. Yes. She also got the National Youth Award for Medical and Technological Innovation, awarded by the National Youth Development Council in partnership with the government of the Republic of Zambia. Amazing. That's a national award. Wonderful. She got the EAZ Innovator of the Year in 2021, which was awarded by the Economics Association of Zambia. She even transcended beyond pharmacy. to the field of economics as well. Wonderful. She was also listed as top 30 under 30 future of Zambia by the Dream Factory. She got the first prize in the Boss Bees Global Startup Competition. Amazing. This is awe-inspiring. Aside from innovation, Florence Mulenga is an advocate for young people and women. In 2020, she was chosen by the Justina Mutali Foundation, founded by Dr. Justina Mutali, who is one of the 100 most influential women in the world. She was chosen to speak during a virtual World Summit focused on celebrating girls across the globe. And at the summit, Florence shared this global platform with different distinguished global personalities, including the first female president of the Republic of Kosovo, the first female president of Mauritius, the current vice president of the Republic of Liberia, the Deputy Secretary of the Commonwealth, and many more. In 2021, she was given the opportunity to represent young girls virtually during the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women conference, which took place in New York. She has been given platforms by the Girl Up United Nations Foundation to host talk shows with wonderful women from across the globe. She was made a judge ambassador for the Holt Prize Lusaka Impact Summit organized by the Dream Factory, and she was granted a certificate signed by former President Bill Clinton. She is currently the programs officer at the Zambia National STEM Foundation, where she utilizes the platform to empower and equip young people in science and help to connect them to different opportunities to grow their innovations into marketable products that could hopefully one day compete on international markets. Last but not least, she is a talk show host for a platform called Beyond and Above, where she encourages young people in various fields to excel in their careers or with their talents. And she does this by hosting people who have also excelled in their careers or with their talents so that such people can share their stories and experiences. Oh my God. Oh my God. Please, can we give a rousing applause for Florence Mulenga in the comment section? Please let me see your applauses in the comment section, please. Let me see your applauses for Florence in the comment section, please. This is amazing. This is mind blowing. Florence, how did you achieve all of these? I think that's a good point to start. How did you achieve all of these? The pharmacy student. Pharmacy
Hi,
school is school. I want to believe.
how
How did
are
you
you?
achieve all? Please go on, Florence.
How are you?
Hi, fine. I'm fine. Thank you, Florence. So good to see you.
You made me so shy. I don't even know where to start from. Now I feel like people are expecting so much. Well, thank you so much for hosting me. I'm really, really grateful, and I really am speechless with the introduction. It was really phenomenal, and I'm so grateful to be here and to just interact and share my story. Thank you so, so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Florence. Thank you so much. We are honored to have you here. Thank you so much for making our time to show your face, yes, and to share your story as well with us. So I was asking Florence, pharmacy school is stressful, at least from a Nigerian point of view. I want to believe it's the same case in Zambia, right? And you're a pharmacist. I want to,
It's crazy. It's crazy.
oh, oh, I can imagine. I want to believe that you are a serious pharmacy student, right? So how have you been able to manage pharmacy school with every other accomplishment that you've got?
Okay. Thank you for that question. I won't even lie to you. It gets very hard and very tricky because it's like your mind is divided in so many places, and just for you to focus on like your school is crazy, and it's very wild. But one thing I know is you need to know exactly what you want to achieve at the end of the day, because if your let's say if your dream is clinical pharmacy, you're not going to go around doing all these things, and because your goal is clearly defined for clinical pharmacy. So most of the time you definitely want to spend it at the hospital. But for me, I've defined my goal to not be clinical. It's not in the clinical aspect. So that's why you find me doing these other things, because these are things that I'm passionate about around pharmacy, like taking pharmacy global, innovation, creation. That's what I'm passionate about. So you find that I'm more focused on that area. So I feel it's really good to find what you're passionate about and work in that direction. So for me, that's what I've been doing, trying to work in the direction that I'm passionate about. So you find that sometimes, yeah, my academics are affected, I won't even lie, but it makes me happy knowing that I'm also moving in the direction that I'm passionate about, but with pharmacy. So I don't know if that answers your question.
I think it largely does, moving in the direction of your passion. I think that's profound because, in the midst of the recognition and the seeming glamour, it's very easy to be distracted. It's very easy to feel like, okay, yeah, 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 I'm having a good life, I'm enjoying. My classmates don't even know what they're missing. Oh my God, see me on global stages, meeting world leaders, and so on. Yeah. I think what's most important is the fact that you are moving in the direction of your passion, because post pharmacy school, actually, you what's going to be left for you and what's going to help you going forward is your passion or whatever you're interested in. And I think that's going to even make it easier for you to impact lives, because you can't impact lives doing what you don't enjoy or doing what you're not passionate about. Yes. So I would like to ask you, what are some critical lessons you have learned so far in your years of being a pharmacy student, engaged in innovation, and of course, a pharmacy student who has been in the spotlight? What are three key lessons that you have learned that you like to share with pharmacy students from Nigeria and even from Africa, so that they can understand what this feels like for you and what they could also do to be able to live such a life that is influential and impactful? What three key lessons would you like to share?
Okay, three. The first one, obviously, is going to be time management. It's not easy to juggle around with other things if you're not careful with how you spend your time. It's very easy for you to waste your time on so many things. And then when you actually now find time to do things that you're actually passionate about, you feel so much pressure because you've spent your time doing things that you're not even supposed to be doing. And then now the time that you need for the things that you're passionate about is also wasted, because now you feel like, oh my gosh, I have school and then I've wasted time. And then I also have these things that I want to do that I'm passionate about. You need to first also cut down on the things that you are doing. For example, things that are quite time wasting, things that don't allow you to pursue what you're passionate about. Because people say, okay, how do you do all these things? But then I ask them, where do you get the time to watch the movies that you're watching? Where do you get the times to go for chills almost every day? Like, the same amount of time that you are spending can also be used to do things that you're passionate about. I'm not saying stop watching movies, stop going for chills. No, I do that as well. I do watch movies and all that. But then you also need to realize that the more you spend time on other things, it lessens the time for you to do things that you're passionate about. And by the time you realize that you've wasted so much time, you find that you've affected your studies as well. So I just feel that people should really learn to manage their time. If it means knowing what you're going to do from 7 to maybe 12 a.m. or 12 p.m., I don't know, whatever, make sure that the time is allocated for. I think time management has been like one of the biggest things that I've come to acknowledge. And also number two, I've also realized that you need to identify what you're passionate about. When you look at your journey so far, you find that most of us are living lives that were dictated by someone, or someone just put it in your head, or maybe your parents told you to do it. But then you need to come to a point whereby you realize that you're an adult and you're going to live the rest of your life on your own. So you need to come to a point where you sit down, you relax for a bit, you sit down and analyze. If it means writing down, I always encourage people to have journals. It's very important. You need to sit down and realize, to say, okay, what really makes me happy, and how can I channel that happiness into having impact in people's lives? How can I channel that happiness into the pharmacy direction that I'm already in? So for example, for me, what makes me happy is I'll give an example of how I love, how can I put it? I love really learning from people. Okay, I just really love learning from people who've made it in life, because for me, I find it very exciting. I try to analyze, like, okay, how did they get to where they are? So for me, that's very exciting, learning from them. So that's why I decided to start the show called Beyond and Above, because in as much as I'm sharing it with my fellow youths, in as much as I'm sharing it to the world, I'm also enjoying what I'm doing. I'm learning from them. Like, I'm listening to their stories and I'm just so inspired. And I feel that for us to be where we are, we have to get inspired by at least someone. So I feel that show gets to help people think outside the box. You can watch it on my YouTube channel known as Florence Mulenga. I'll talk about it later. But yeah, so that's something that I discovered. Okay, if I can channel my pharmacy passion in that direction, I think I could be doing things that I actually really, really enjoy. And then on top of it, like, number one thing that I enjoy is creativity, innovation. I feel there's so much you can do with science, but then in Africa, we're mostly about theory. I don't know about Nigeria, but in Zambia, it's mostly theory and no practical work. We should get to a point where when they give us slides or books to study, we should be thinking, okay, what if I got this and put them together? Well, how can that help diabetes? How can that help an asthmatic patient? I think if people in the past were capable of thinking like this, I think even I can think better. And most of the natural resources that they use to design these medicines that we receive that are now synthetic, most of them come from Africa. So we just need to channel our creativity and just be so creative. So already I'm using my creativity in pharmacy and I'm enjoying the creativeness and I'm enjoying the innovation. So number one, time management. Number two, use your passion and channel it in the direction where you are already in. And then number three, most of all, I don't know how many are Christian here, and I don't know how many are Muslim. I really don't know what you believe in, but for me, personally, I'm Christian, so I believe in God. So really, whatever higher power you believe in, for me, I believe in God. Always make sure you have that conversation. You ask for direction, you seek wisdom. For us, the Bible, as Christians, say that you need to. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of all wisdom. So if you have fear for creator, for your creator, you have things like integrity, you are going to be very honest about the things that you're doing. It just shows you a certain direction which you would not have taken if you didn't seek counsel or anything. So whatever you believe in, just make sure you're able to channel it, because good health, according to the World Health Organization, is not just about physical well-being, it's about spiritual well-being, emotional well-being. And so you have to get everything in order, even your spiritual life, your physical life, your emotional life, everything just has to be, in order. So make sure you talk to your creator, you talk to what you believe in, make sure you're fully focused on that. And also these three things. So I hope that was really helpful.
Yes, it was helpful, wonderful. I like how you spoke a great deal about what you believe in and how that has impacted on your sojourn, so to speak. I like also that you made a great point of time management, which is a critical skill for every change maker, especially every change maker who is still a student. Your academics are the priority, should be priority. And then while you try to excel academically, you also want to excel extracurricularly. So time management is definitely important. My next question will be born out of the second point you made, following what you're passionate about. Many people are usually lost when it comes to that point of passion, purpose. They don't have clarity as to how to identify what they're passionate about or what their life's purpose is. So I'd like to ask you, how did you identify what you're passionate about or what your life's purpose is? And what advice do you give to other people who are seeking clarity in that regard?
All right, thank you so much. So recently I was talking to my friend. She's the first female president for her university, which is the University of Lusaka. And I asked her, what plans do you have for the future? Where do you see yourself in the future? And I like the answer that she gave me. She was like, Florence, to be honest with you, I may seem like I have it all figured out. I'm a student leader. I do all these things, but to be honest, I'm not really sure like what I like. I have no like specific position or specific company organization, or she was just trying to point out how, in as much as she's not yet figured it out, she's living in the moment of knowing exactly what really makes her happy, and she's going to move in that direction. Of course, she has to have an idea of what she wants her life to look like, but her goal is not really something that she can identify and say, okay, when I finish school, I want to be the director general of the World Health Organization, or I want to be this. She's like, it's not really restricted. It's based on impact. I can tell you how I want to have an impact on the number of this number of lives. So I thought to myself, this is something a lot of people are actually struggling with, like identifying how to know that they're passionate about something. But then I think for me, what I would say is the moment you're given a task and it doesn't feel like work to you, the moment you're actually excited about the carrying out that task, even without getting paid, then just know you really like that thing. Because most of the times when you're given to do something, you're expecting a paycheck. That makes you excited. That makes you want to do it, to do it because you're looking for, a paycheck at the end of the day. But then what you do for free, and then you're excited to actually do it, trust me, that makes you happy, because they say that when you're doing something you love, you will never work a single day. And who wouldn't want that? So I feel you need to sit down and assess, what do I do that makes me happy even without money? Of course, the money is important. It's going to come at some point, especially when you grow your passion, it's going to start coming in. But you need to sit down and realize and say, what makes me excited? What is it that when I wake up, I'm really excited to do? And how can I channel it in that path? So for me, like, how did I discover that that this is what I'm passionate about? So for me, what happened is I was also in that phase where I'm like, I'm questioning. I'm like, okay, what am I really passionate about? I think I was like in third year. I was like, what am I really excited about? What was I meant to do on this earth? Like, what's my purpose? So I was just on that path trying to search for answers. And I feel when you go on that path where you allow yourself to search for answers, because the answers don't come immediately. But if you allow yourself, you put yourself in that path to discover what it is exactly that you're passionate about, the answers will definitely come. Because for me, when I decided to go on that path, that's when answers started coming. That's when I saw the competition. It was announced, no, there's this competition where you have to be creative in your thinking, how you can combine science with entrepreneurship. You need to think in that line. So I started thinking, I'm like, oh, this sounds exciting. And I started doing it, not knowing that it would lead to this big innovation and it would lead to creativity. But what I discovered is I enjoyed the process of thinking. I enjoyed the process of being creative. So me going on that path of wanting to discover what I'm passionate about led me to actually an opportunity that opened my eyes to see, okay, this is what I'm really passionate about. So when you actually go on that journey, it's going to allow you to see exactly what you're passionate about. And slowly, it's a process. It's an everyday process. Every day you get to discover something new about yourself. No one fully knows exactly what they're passionate about, but as the days go by, you get to discover little things about yourself that you never even knew existed. So I feel that's what I can say on that one.
Great perspective there. Thank you very much, Florence. Thank you, Florence. In the midst of your your accolades, your recognitions, your accomplishments, how have you been able to manage the spotlight? I don't know if you've had any challenge with being in the spotlight. What challenges have you experienced, if any? How have you been able to manage being in the spotlight? What's the experience like for you?
It's actually it's really crazy because I know myself to be an introvert. Like when someone sees me on interviews, TV, whatever, getting these accolades, first of all, let me mention something. For me to actually get those accolades, it meant that I had to pitch the idea in front of big people, big crowds, stage, what I had to like, pitch and explain the concept to many people here in Zambia, in South Africa, and whatnot. So it meant, talking to large crowds. And I was afraid, I was scared, I won't even lie. But then it made me realize that um, if you don't tell the world about what you're doing, they'll never know. We can't just wake up and guess, oh, this is what she's up to, this is what I'm up to. The world needs to hear what you're up to. So I decided, okay, I need to get out of that shell and just present and just tell the world what this is about. And from then on, it's been a matter of growing because I tell you what, when you're an introvert, it's scary like to interact with people because you just, you don't know what they're thinking. You don't know if they even like what you're saying. But then as an introvert, you get to a point whereby the world just needs to hear your story and you just need to overcome that shyness. What has the spotlight done to me? It's been scary because I remember when my story went viral in my country, like everybody was just like, I know him, I know him. I'm just like, like, no, don't do that. But this is one thing. I was having an interview with Vusi Tembekwai. I don't know if you know Vusi Tembekwai, one of the greatest entrepreneurs in Africa. And he told me, he also told me, sorry, start, I don't like publicity, but greatness comes with publicity, even though you don't want it. It just comes. So if you want to achieve something great, you have to get used to the fact that greatness comes with publicity. The world is going to obviously hear about you at some point, and you just need to embrace that journey. You need to embrace that ride. And one thing I can advise people about being known or being popular is that you should be prepared for it because it comes with cyberbullying. It's not all rosy. It comes with cyberbullying. Some people don't like what you're talking about. Some people like what you're talking about. So you need to be mentally prepared to deal with the bullies. Some people don't like how you look. Some people think you look older than your age. Some people think you look younger than your age. Like you just need to be prepared with every negativity that is going to come with. But just know that you ought to focus on the positivity, because once you focus on the positivity, you're going to realize that you're actually having so much impact on people's lives. Someone will come and tell you, oh, I did pharmacy because I heard your story, or I started a business because I watched a YouTube video that you did about entrepreneurship, or maybe I went into innovation. I created this because I saw how you invented this, so now I'm into innovation. Or I got into this because you said this, you did that. So you realize that it comes with a lot of positive impact, and if you focus on the negative aspect, you're going to be drained. I made that mistake the moment I became known, the first time I started reading through the comments of people on social media, I was expecting everybody to say something nice. Oh, she's amazing, she's done this. That's what I was expecting. But lo and behold, when I was scrolling through the comments, there were really positive comments, yeah. But then there was some negative comments, to the point that when I read the negative comments, I forgot about all the positive comments. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I shouldn't have been in the spotlight. What have I done? I should have just kept quiet. I should have just, sat down and not speak or anything. But that's where the problem is. There's a very lovely quote that I love by Williamson, where she says that when we shine our light, we allow others to shine their light as well. So me putting my light out there will allow others to put their light there as well, because they've been inspired by how I've put my light out there. So yeah, I've discovered in my journey that I ought to focus on the positive side of what I'm doing, because there's so much positive impact that is coming with what I am doing. So for me, it's about, so now I've gotten to discover, and I hope anybody here who's trying to achieve something great, who is trying to, help other people shine their light, I need you to discover that you need to focus on the positive aspect of what you are doing, because anything you do, whatever good you ever do, there'll always be a negative comment, but you need to focus on the positive side and the positivity that you're bringing to the world, the number of people that you are helping. Even the sweetest person on earth will obviously get negative comments at some point. So just do what you do, focus on the people that you are impacting, and just keep growing and glowing. So yeah.
Wow, so good, so good, so good. So many nuggets you shared here. So good. With greatness comes the spotlight. Yeah. So just know that if you desire to be great, if you desire to be excellent at your craft, you will definitely be in the spotlight at one time or the other. So you must be mentally prepared for it. And you must also be mentally prepared for the fact that not everybody would like you. And many of them would not hesitate to show their dislike to you. You must be mentally prepared for all of those. Thank you so much for being so real with us. I truly appreciate that. You are a pharmacy student. We shouldn't forget that fact, right? So I'd just like to know which pharmacy course is your favorite? You're in final year. I want to believe you're in final year, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so which pharmacy course is your favorite?
Well, um, just one.
Okay, let's do two. Let's do two.
Oh, okay. Now two is better. I really love pharmacology. Why I love pharmacology is it makes me have a sense of why I'm doing pharmacy. Like it makes me so knowledgeable, to the point that if I go out there and anybody asks me, oh, I'm supposed to take this drug, what do I do? I'm just like, don't worry about it. Let me just scan through my brain. So I love pharmacology. I really enjoy pharmacology. And which other course can I mention? Pharmacology. And I don't know, do you guys have pharmacognosy?
Yes, we do. Pharmacognosy. Yes, we do.
I feel pharmacognosy is very interesting. It just needs to be more practical, but I feel it's amazing. Like I get to learn how rich Africa is in terms of resources, pharmaceutical resources. So for me, that's really exciting and it just blows my mind. So yeah, pharmacology and pharmacognosy.
Great, great. That's so good to know. That's so good to know. I'm sure there are people here who also have pharmacology and or pharmacognosy as their favorite courses. So it's good that they're able to relate to you on that front. So for you as a pharmacy student, you're in final year. What's next after pharmacy school? Your induction is staring you in the face. Very soon you'll be inducted officially into the pharmacy profession and real life will stare you in the face. Like they say, you will now be in the labor market, so to speak. So what going to do?
Uh-huh.
First question.
Okay. So for me, so like my final completion will be next year. So what's for me is I told you, like, for me to do like all these things, I need to know exactly like what I really, really want to do. So for me, I told you, like, it's mostly innovation, and obviously just making, I really want pharmacy to get recognition. I feel like people don't know what pharmacy is. Like, up to now, it's been, I don't know how many years, but people are still asking, what do you do in pharmacy? Do you just sell drugs at the drugstore and you're just like, oh, take two in the morning? I want people to know what this beautiful career is all about. So even trying to create a publicity for it. So I'd like to work for organizations such as World Health Organization or the United Nations, and I feel I've been pushing in that direction. So for me, it's mostly about moving in a direction that will make pharmacy marketable. So it has to either do with innovation or making it something that's really great. Because, if you're in places like the UN or WHO, like, everybody will be like, oh, what course did you do for you to get there? So I'll be like, oh, I did pharmacy. So I want people to look at pharmacy that way and be like, wow, I want to do pharmacy too. So something in those lines. So yeah, so I really wouldn't really, okay, we have to do internship obviously after pharmacy. So there'll be the internship part. And then after the internship, honestly, I'm not too sure, but I know that those are the directions I want to go. And I also want to be able to do my master's as early as possible, because one of the pharmacists, Mr. Daniel Kabani, he owns a lot of pharmacies and a lot of businesses, very great man. He talked about how, our neurons are dying on a daily basis. So it's better to do our education early enough. So I want to be able to do my master's early enough, So yeah, maybe I'll go directly into doing my master's after the internship, or maybe we'll be in the UN, or maybe, I don't know. But really, I don't want to be restricted to something small. I want to do something big in pharmacy so that people can be like, ooh, what's that career about? I want people to know what pharmacy is all about. I don't know in Nigeria where pharmacy is at right now, but in Zambia, it's still there, where people are like, oh, pharmacy. Oh, so you just sell in the pharmacy? Like, no, there's more to it. So I want it to gain some level of recognition so that it may be easier for the guys who are coming on board, the juniors. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. I'm so excited by the passion with which you discuss pharmacy. I'm so excited by the fact that what motivates you to do what you do is even beyond self. It's also for other people, for the profession, for the future of the profession. And that's actually at the center of what we do at Pharma Incubation Hub, because we want to groom pharmacists of the future who are exceptional, who are not bound by the four walls of a community pharmacy, a pharmacy store, or the four walls of the conventional pharmacy practice. We want to groom pharmacists of the future who are unconventional. Like you said, pharmacists in the UN, pharmacists in World Health Organizations, pharmacists who are blazing trails in any field whatsoever, so that the profession or the court pharmacy becomes only a springboard to achieve whatsoever desire that they've got. So that at the end, when people begin to trace their success story, they can say, oh, she did pharmacy at the first degree. He did pharmacy at the first degree. And that just shines more light on the beauty and diversity and power of the profession of pharmacy. So I'm so excited that we are on the same page on this. I'm so excited we're on the same page on this. So good to see. So good to see. Wow, I want to believe that our participants are learning a great deal. Wonderful. I see Victoria says the zeal. Yes, the zeal. She speaks with so much zeal. I'm also glad to see that the pharmacy education in Zambia is similar to that in Nigeria, because pharmacy education in Nigeria, the B Pharm degree, which is Bachelor's of Pharmacy, is a 5-year course. However, some schools have now started the PharmD, which is the Doctor of Pharmacy. That is
Yeah.
6 years. So I just wanted to gain more clarity on how pharmacy education runs in Zambia. For the B Pharm degree here in Nigeria, which is 5 years, you do the first year is it's pharmacy school. So you do general courses with other healthcare students, and you do your chemistry, your biology, your physics, English, mathematics, botany, zoology, the basic courses anyway. And then based on your grade point average, especially if you do not fail certain compulsory courses in chemistry and physics, you then move to pharmacy school, which is 200 level, second year proper. And in second year, you are introduced to certain pharmacy courses, pharmaceutical chemistry, pharmacognosy, pharmaceutics. In some schools, I think it's pharmaceutical technology or something that involves dispensing anyway. And then we also do anatomy and physiology. In 300 level, we do biochemistry alongside our regular pharmacy courses, and we also do pharmacology, right? Yeah, till graduation, where we do clinical pharmacy, core clinical pharmacy in 400 level. In some schools, like the Obafemi Awolowo University, I think they do their clinical pharmacy from 300 level or so. I'm not very sure. So yeah, that's basically how it looks like in Nigeria. For the doctor of pharmacy degree, it's new in some of the schools, right? So I'm not very sure of how it runs generally, but I know that it's more clinical than the Bachelor of Pharmacy degree. So I just wanted to get more insight on how pharmacy education runs in Zambia.
Oh, okay, thank you so much. Actually, it's very similar. Everything you've said, I thought you were mentioning the Zambian system. So in first year, we do math, physics, biology, and chemistry. And then based on the grades that you make, you get to be put into the courses that you had put as your first option. And then if you didn't make it to your first option, you get to be put in your second option. But your second option also has a cutoff point. So you find mostly obviously the highest score is for med school, and then there's obviously pharmacy, there's physiotherapy, there's what and all that. And then now you go into your second year of pharmacy, so you move now from the main campus, you go to what we call Ridgeway campus. So that's the medical campus. So now when you come to the medical campus in second year, you get to do I noticed you mentioned biochemistry for third year. For us, biochemistry is like in second year. You do the anatomy, the physiology, you do the pharmacology. What else? You do so many things. And then you go to your third year where you find the pathology, the microbiology, you find so many interesting things. And then you come to fourth year, you do medicinal chemistry. So now pharmaceutical chemistry changes its name to medicinal chemistry in fourth year and stuff like that, all those pharmacy courses. And then in fifth year, they've now introduced some new courses, which is very exciting for me. They've introduced entrepreneurship, they've introduced leadership, because they've noticed that most of us pharmacists end up becoming entrepreneurs because, you already know how the pharmaceutical business works. So I'm so glad they've introduced entrepreneurship, because now we'll have so many entrepreneurial pharmacists on the market. And I remember Dr. Lloyd Matoe saying that a rich pharmacist means a rich profession. So we need to have very rich, powerful, influential pharmacists going on around. So there's entrepreneurship, there's management, there's leadership. And then now we have the pharmacy courses, like the pharmacologists, the clinical pharmacies, and the veterinary pharmacy and all that. And then so you're done with your 5 years there, yeah? So now when it comes to PharmD, there's been a lot of debates. It has to be, it's been really political. It's been, debated, I think, in parliament or something like that. And I think it was agreed upon that it should be introduced at the University of Zambia, it being the highest learning institution. But then you find that it's been delayed. But then other universities like Levi Mwanawasa, there's another university that was new and stuff like that. They've been able to incorporate PharmD. So it's been easier for them because they're new. But then for us, know all those procedures. I don't know why things take long in Africa, but we're progressing, we're improving as a continent, and I love that. So I'm sure we should be able to be progressive about it. But yeah, there's a PharmD aspect that's going on in other universities, and I hope it can be introduced on my campus as well. So so I wouldn't know exactly what is involved in PharmD, but it's something that's being talked about in the country.
Interesting. It's good to see that there are many similarities in the pharmacy education in both countries. I also saw that you mentioned that first pharmacy school there is a mandatory internship, so you can intern in any place of your choice, or there are certain accredited places for internship. Here in Nigeria, there are certain accredited places for internship. However, the slots are not even available for all of the pharmacy graduates who are churned out from the various pharmacy schools across the country. So you find some people who may not be fortunate enough to get internship placement immediately after graduation or a few months after graduation. Some persons may wait about a year still looking for internship placement. And then after the 1 year internship, there is the mandatory national service where the government posts us to different places, different parts of the country, and then we serve the country. Even though many of us don't want to, but we still have to. Yeah. So regarding internship, there is the community pharmacy, the hospital pharmacy. There are a few research centers, but those are technically the available spots. More people are now clamoring for more innovative areas. Some people want to serve in private sectors, or they want to intern in the private sector, in companies in the private sector. Say an innovative pharmaceutical company that is just doing something out of the box. Young folks like us just want to be in third places to learn what they are doing. But trust Nigeria, trust Africa. They are slow to, accept such places as accredited internship centers. So I would like to hear your opinion. Yeah, how is it in Gambia? In Zambia, sorry.
I just feel like we're literally living in the same country. Everything you've mentioned is the same struggle everybody's is experiencing. So so for us the internship is that one thing I know, that one thing I've learned is that for 6 months you have to intern in a hospital, and then for 4 months you can intern like in retail or other places, but 6 months mandatory, it has to be in a hospital. So there's that aspect. And also the accredited hospitals that have been listed down, or the accredited places, they're not enough for everyone, so you have people waiting in line to intern, and that's a lot of delay. But I feel this can be managed better if they partnered with private hospitals and accredited these private hospitals, like almost all the private hospitals. I mean, for a hospital to be running, it should probably be accredited. Like, why can't they just accredit all those private hospitals as well, so that now everybody has somewhere to go? Because private hospitals also, you would want to do your internship there, but then when you go to the people who will give you your license, they'll be like, oh, this is not accredited in our system. But then why is it running as a hospital if it's not accredited in your system? So I wonder why such things happen. So I feel like this has to be really looked into, because we can't have people graduate and then they're waiting in line. And that's what brings down a profession. When people now start waiting in line, it's like, I'll give an example of teachers in my country. The government has said they're going to employ 30,000 teachers. But to be honest with you, even if they employed 50,000 teachers, they'll still be jobless teachers. Why? Because the system has just not really found a way to find something for everyone. And I feel that's where pharmacy is heading. We're becoming a lot, and now people are staying at home. And I feel it should never be like that in a healthcare profession, because health is mandatory. Health is a priority. Pharmacists need to be deployed at all times. So I feel that has to be really looked into. But otherwise, we experience the same thing as your country. And regarding innovative companies, like research companies and whatnot, I haven't heard of so many here in Zambia, because mostly mostly what we have are just probably maybe pharmaceutical companies that are probably repackaging drugs and stuff like that. But like having a research center that's filled with pharmaceutical innovation, haven't heard of it yet, but maybe it's there. Maybe I haven't been exposed to it yet, but it's really not something that's really been happening in our country, and that's what we need.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. It's good to see that there are some similarities, and we definitely agree on one point: the fact that our pharmacy education regulatory bodies need to do better in reshaping pharmacy education and giving more pharmacy graduates opportunity to learn, especially in innovative, forward-thinking environments. Good, good. So I'd like to ask, what's your biggest inspiration?
In my career or just life?
Every way, anyway.
Okay. So people ask me why I, put so much stress on myself, why I work so hard. My biggest inspiration is obviously to provide a really better life for my mom. My mom has been through a lot. She's a single mom and she had to raise I may be her only child, but she had to raise her other siblings as well. So for me, I've just always wanted a good life for her. So for me, that really motivates me to wake up and fight a little bit harder and push myself to provide a better life for her. And I hope to do that, yeah, with the hard work that's been put in. But obviously it would be by the grace of God if I become the person I dream to become. And another inspiration is obviously
Hi, Florence. Are you still there? Lost you for a few seconds. Oh, sorry about that. I think Florence has a network challenge on her end. She should join us very soon. So I will wait for Florence to rejoin the session. How has it been so far? For me, there are so many light bulb thoughts that I think Florence has shared so far. A lot to learn from a pharmacy student who is open to learning, a pharmacy student who is going all out to achieve her dreams, a pharmacy student who is just relentless, persevering, and just just out there stopping at nothing to be her best self. Yes. So what have you learned so far? Anyone who would like to share how they currently feel or what they've currently learned from today's session? Anyone? You can type in the comment section or you can unmute yourself. Okay, Victoria wrote, do not limit yourself. Good, 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 good. Yes. Would anyone like to themselves? You could just go on to unmute yourself and share your thoughts with us. Anyone? Where are we? Where are we? Where are we? Are we still there? Okay. Oh, Aliyu, please go on. Unmute yourself. Please go ahead.
Hello? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
So far, I've been jotting just like I thought today is a lecture class. I just sit down with my paper and pen, just jotting some of her inspirations and most what she said. Hello?
Yes, go on, Aliu. Yeah. So what stood out to you so far?
Mostly the issue, what she discussed about time management and identifying your passion, and the publicity where she talked on achieving great things with publicity. And also that reminds me of this entrepreneur, Jack Ma, who say, don't always be the best, but be the first. I think with our innovation, being the first in innovating new ideas will go a long way to improve our career. So it's an inspiration to me to always innovate new ideas. So far, that's what I learned.
Great. Thank you, Aliu. That's good to know. Would any other person like to share what they've learned? You can type in the comment section, or you can raise your hand so you can be called upon to unmute yourself. Any other person who would like to share what they've learned so far? Okay, Victoria, please go on. Unmute yourself, please. Guys, see, now is a good time to start jotting your questions. You can type in the comment section, or when it's time for the Q&A, you're ready to unmute yourself so that you can ask your question. Victoria, please go on.
Okay, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So, for me, I think I can practically relate to most of the things, our personal stories, especially. And then it's okay, Nigerians, specifically Nigerian pharmacy students, who go through a lot of pressure, who are almost always under pressure due to pharmacy stress, pharmaceutical stress. And I feel like we've not really been given opportunity to really leave our comfort zone and do things and really think
Sorry,
so,
Victoria.
I think I'm not okay. She makes me.
Sorry? We're finding it hard to hear you clearly. I am finding it hard to hear you clearly anyway. I'm not sure if it's the case for other persons. Maybe you could type in the comment section so that we can have a better flow. Nonetheless, thank you very much. Thank you. Florence, welcome back. I see network challenges a thing all over Africa. Welcome back. So you are sharing with us what your big vision is.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So the biggest inspiration. I'm sorry I couldn't hear Victoria because I think she's having network issues as well. But what I was trying to say is, for me, it may sound far-fetched or unrealistic, but I would really love to have an impact on 1 billion lives. And I believe in being unrealistic because at the end of the day, if I say I want to have an impact on 1 billion lives, then it means that even if at least I have an impact on 1 million lives, I was trying at least to achieve a certain higher goal. Because if I set a low goal for myself, it means that I'll be working with less effort. But then if I set such a high standard for myself, it means I'll be working towards achieving something so high. And even though I don't achieve it, it means that at least I tried to reach there. And I feel like it's very possible to have impact on people's lives positively. I want to have an impact on their lives, be it pharmaceutically, or be it economically, be it academically, be it whatever area. I just really just genuinely want to have impact on people's lives. And I don't know why I'm particularly passionate about refugees. I've never even had a refugee friend, but I'm always thinking about those people, like how hard it must be for them to live in a country where, they're considered foreigners and they're not given opportunities like everybody else. I don't know. I just really want to have impact on those kind of people as well, because I feel they go through a lot of mental trauma, and I'm a medical person, and I feel like I can come in to help at some point. But either ways, and I want my innovation to have impact on people's lives. I may not be the one to do the innovation, but whoever does it or wherever it goes, it should be able to save those asthmatic patients. And my hope is that that should be achieved, so that probably even as we win a Nobel Prize, even as we win that, we should be able to say, oh, it was designed by a pharmacy student. It was brought about from a mind of a pharmacy student, and everybody will be talking about pharmacy. So for me, those things inspire me and motivate me to actually go about my work and push a little bit harder. And if I were to say, no, this person inspires me, that person inspires me, it would be a whole list, because I have so many people who inspire me. People like Oprah Winfrey, people like John Pemberton, who designed the Coca-Cola formula. Up to now, nobody's able to redesign Coca-Cola. So such people, the innovation behind that guy, like his mind, he was actually also a pharmacist. So that's really inspiring for me to see. Coca-Cola is everywhere. If I talk about Coca-Cola in Nigeria, you know it. If I talk about Coca-Cola in America, they know it. So that was an innovation that has lived many years up to now, since 18 something. So I am inspired in that aspect of innovation. And then when it comes to probably having an impact on people's lives economically, it would be probably Oprah Winfrey. Look at how many lives she's changed economically. So, I have different people who inspire me in different areas, but my main inspiration is my mom, because she's such a hardworking woman. No matter what she's going through, she'll still put in the work. She'll work hard. She'll give no excuses as to why she didn't show up. She will show up regardless what has happened to her, whatever she's experiencing. So she's my inspiration in that. I look up to her in that way. And I also look forward into providing an extraordinary life for her. So I feel that's what inspires me.
Oh my. Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot. And it's so good to see that you're already making your mom proud. She must be so proud of you every single day, seeing such a gift that you are, such a bundle of talent and greatness that you are. You're definitely making her proud already. I just smiled when you mentioned that there's a long list of people who inspire you, right? Wow. And whenever you're talking or sharing certain thoughts, you always find a way to impute someone else's thoughts or someone else's point, right? Something you learned from someone. And it's so good to see that you are a product of learning from several people. You are a product of, yes, greatness born out of listening to other people, learning from other people, drawing inspiration from other people's lives. And that's so good to know. And I think that's a challenge to every other pharmacy student here, so that they always consistently commit themselves to learning from people who are even beyond the pharmacy space. You mentioned Wuzi, right? Yeah, Wuzi is one of the most iconic persons in Africa, right? I had seen that video on your WhatsApp status some weeks ago. I was so proud to see that. Wow, you were the almighty Woozy. Oh God. Yes. So that's a clarion call to everyone who is here, every pharmacy student who is here, and every young person across the globe actually, such that they begin to pay attention to people, inspirational people in their field and outside of their field, so that they can draw lessons from all of these people. At this time, I think it would be good to take questions, yeah, from the participants. So if you've got questions, now is a good time to ask. You can type in the comment section, or you can unmute, you can raise your hand so you can be called upon to unmute yourself. if you would also like to share what you have learned so far, I think this is also a good time to share whatever you have learned so far. Anyone? Anyone? Yeah, so I'm currently waiting to take our questions and our comments, questions and or comments. Okay.
I have a question.
Question, Deborah. Okay, please go on, Deborah.
Okay. In all these things, thank you very much for your response. Like, really inspiring. But I have like a question. In all these steps that you're taking and all the great things that you've done, was there any time that you felt like everything was just so daunting? Like, how did you cope? How did you come out of that? I would like to know.
Did you get the question from? I'm not sure I got the question completely. Do you want to go over it, Deborah? Please go over it again. Your question.
Um, I'm asking that in all the things that you've done, I'm sure there are some times that everything, or if I want to know if there were some times that you felt like everything was just so daunting and just so maybe too much or a lot or just too hard. And I would like to know how you managed to overcome that, how you managed to merge everything and just stay in your space. I would like to know that.
Hmm. Good question. Florence, would you like to respond to that? Was there ever a time when you felt that you were overwhelmed by everything that you had going for you? And how did you manage the situation?
Thank you so much to I think it was Deborah. That's a very good question, and I think that's a question that people miss out. Like they don't ask it. People need to know exactly like what the challenges were because it may seem all perfect and flawless, in an interview and whatnot, but then like people are missing the aspect that everything that you do, every time you try to achieve something great, it comes with challenges as well. So yeah, there were so many times, and I think Taiwo, you had asked me at some point if I've ever felt imposter syndrome. I think you had asked me during the magazine interview. I'm not really sure, but it was for the pharmaceutical interview that the magazine.
Yes.
Yes, yeah, you had asked me about feeling having imposter syndrome, and I think that was the first time I ever heard that word. But I googled it and I realized that I actually experienced imposter syndrome where you're feeling like, am I even supposed to be here? Am I supposed to get these awards? um is this really for me? Am I, like, even me speaking on this platform, am I even qualified to be here? But then I got to realize that the more we fear, the lesser we achieve. The more you fear, the lesser you achieve, because fear takes away faith, and faith is what causes you to achieve. So if you're so focused on the fear, then you're going to achieve less. But if you're so focused on the faith, you're going to achieve more. So I realized, like, even in the challenges that I may experience, because there are even moments where people, you get mockery out of this, like, because publicity comes with a negative aspect as well, as I told you. So there's also the mockery aspect, people thinking that you're just wasting your time doing the things that you're doing, and it gets so overwhelming. You start to agree with them at some point, and you're just like, okay, what's the point of all of these things? But then, as I mentioned, it's all about the positivity that you're bringing to the world. If whatever you're doing is bringing some sort of positive energy, if it's impacting even one or two lives, then what you're doing is not useless at the end of the day. So whatever challenge you might face, you need to just overcome it. Like, it's very difficult, especially when the challenge that you're experiencing is actually mental, like your own voice speaking against you. You find that it's very difficult to overcome. But then one thing I know about greatness is that it's going to come with challenges, and you need to be willing to overcome those challenges. Even when you're tired, what I tell people is that when you're tired, when you're stressed about whatever you're doing, which I experience quite often, don't go out giving up. Go and take a nap, rest, relax, go watch Netflix or go watch a YouTube video, do something that makes you happy, go out with your friends, recharge, reboot, and start again. It's not an opportunity for you to now give up, because people use that opportunity of self-doubt as a moment of giving up. But that's not the opportunity for you to give up. That's an opportunity for you to go and reboot, recharge, and start again, because a journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. So at some point, there's going to be a step that you're going to reach that's going to be so tiresome and you want to rest. So during that journey, find a step on that journey and sit down and rest a bit. Your health is also important. Rest, chill, relax, and then once you're done, keep going, keep moving up the ladder. So my only advice is that if you want to overcome challenges, don't use a challenge as an opportunity to give up. Use a challenge as an opportunity to reboot, reset, and start again, or change your direction, because sometimes a challenge may mean that you're going in the wrong direction. So try to assess and see, okay, is this bringing in any positive impact on people's lives? Is this something I like doing? So try to either change the direction or continue moving, but giving up is not an option. Yeah.
Oh my, so good. So good. Florence, wow. A challenge is definitely an opportunity to recharge, to reboot, to start again. However, sometimes a challenge could be a pointer to the fact that you're moving in the wrong direction. Wow, such a great perspective there, Florence. Thank you so much for sharing. I would like to know personally, how do you recharge and reboot? You as a person, how do you recharge and reboot?
Okay, so for me, I love movies. I love, people are always thinking, oh, she's such a genius. She probably reads books when she's stressed. No, I don't. I rarely read books when I'm stressed, but I read books when I'm in the mood for studying. So like when I'm studying, then I read some books here and there for self-development. But when I'm rebooting and when I'm recharging, I just really watch a lot of movies, have a good time, and also YouTube. I love to watch random YouTubers making random videos. And for the movies aspect, I like a lot of adventure fiction, things that don't exist, because it kind of creates a sort of broader imagination in my head, things I've never seen before, things like Marvel movies, Yeah, so I love adventure, things like Harry Potter, although it's been a long time ever since I watched it, but just giving you a perception of the kind of movies I love. So for me, that's like a reboot, a recharge, and I'm just seated there in my blankets, just having some nice coffee and just watching all those things. For me, just feels like a reboot. And then as time goes by, then I sit down and start journaling what really is on my mind, like what's really challenging at the moment. Like I write it down and I start to think to myself, okay, what could be the solution? And as I mentioned, I'm a Christian, so in my reboot, I always like to take some prayer time, because the more I communicate with God, the more I'm able to know which direction I'm supposed to go into the next time I go back, or where I made a mistake. So for me, it's about just doing what I just really enjoy doing in my leisure time, and also just communicating with God and journaling down where I went wrong and how I can get back up. So for me, that's what I do. I don't know. How do you reboot?
You're throwing the question back to me.
Yes, definitely.
How do I reboot? Oh God, that just makes me think of the many overwhelming times that I usually experience. In fact, that I have experienced so far this year. So how do I reboot? One way I reboot is to intentionally review my goals on a quarterly basis and appraise myself. So when I set my goals annually, Many times I set my goals for the year, say December of the previous year or January of that year. And then I break down into quarterly goals, right? And at the end of each quarter, I review what I have done so far in that quarter. I appraise myself. So that's one way to reboot for me. And while appraising myself, I just take myself to a nice restaurant. I treat myself right. Is there a craving that I have had for so long? I make sure I satisfy that craving. For example, if
Wow,
it's
wow.
pizza or cold sun ice cream, oh my, I make sure I treat myself right. Or I just go to a nice restaurant and just buy stuff for myself. That's one way that I reboot, especially during overwhelming or busy periods. Another way I reboot is just to take a step back. Another way I reboot is just to take a step back from every busy schedule lying on ground at the time. So it could just be a day off. That day off, I could just stay at home without going out. Most likely a weekend, right? Well, because these days my weekends are also busy. Last week, I think I did that reboot last weekend because I started the new week on a refreshed note. I recall that during the weekend, I was at home just resting. I, in fact, declined an offer to moderate an event because I knew that I was stressed. I was totally stressed. I had to decline the offer because I saw the need to take that step back and just and just feel myself again. So taking that step back is one way, and when I take a step back, I just relax. It could be to just read a book. It could be even to go through success stories of people. Many times when I'm online, I usually go through the news feeds of people that I admire. But because I've been so busy, I've not had time to do that. Reading through success stories of people sort of refills me. It makes me feel better. It makes me energized. Especially when I see that people are doing very well. It just gives me a rush of excitement. So one thing I do when I'm stressed is just go on Instagram and pick two or three people that I totally admire. And I just look up the latest about them. Oh, what's this person up to? Oh, what's DDK? DDK is Debola Dejikorobe. She's one amazing change maker in Nigeria. She's the minister of the gospel. She's a social entrepreneur, a social innovator. She's an award-winning change maker. She's doing so well, right? She's just a model change maker, at least for me. So for someone like her, I could just go through her Instagram page. Okay, what's the latest about this woman? What big thing is she doing currently? Oh, I check out some other person. Okay, what new things are these people sharing? On their Instagram pages, at least the people I follow, they many times they share lessons from their lives. It's not only the glitz and glamour. So I just learn from all of those people, and it sort of energizes me personally. Another way I reboot is to watch movies. I'm not a movie freak, but I when I choose to watch movies, oh, I make sure I sit with it. So I can decide to pick a movie series and just watch a few episodes throughout a particular week. And many times I watch movie series that linked to mystery, crime, and of course medical movies as well. So I'm currently watching The Resident. I'm watching New Amsterdam. Those two medical movies I'm currently watching, and of course Money Heist. I'm waiting for the next next episode or series of Money Heist. Oh yeah, I saw Squid Games as well. Yeah, when Squid Games was released, that was a good way to to refill. So yeah, so movies, good food, just having a rest day, or catching up on the success stories of people I admire. Those are ways that I refill as well. Yes. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, you did. Actually, really exciting and very relatable, and very realistic. And I just really love everything that you've said right now. And especially the food part, I didn't really think about it. So we'll now be looking into new nice places to eat when we're rebooting. So thank you so much for sharing.
My pleasure, my pleasure. So there is another question in the comment section. Victoria is asking, was there any point in pharmacy school before your big innovation, of course, where you were confused on what exactly you wanted? Was there a point when you had no clue on how you wanted to go about something before your big win? What did you do?
Okay, so before I answer that question, do we have Gloria in here? Taiwo, do we
Sorry?
have Gloria? Do we have Gloria in here?
So Victoria,
No,
she
no,
is
no, no,
here.
no, no, not Victoria, Gloria. There's a girl that you had assigned to me. Her name is Gloria at some point.
Oh, okay, that was for last year, last cohort.
Oh, okay, okay. I remember she had asked me the same question,
Oh,
similar question. So I was looking for her. So to answer the question that was asked, I'm guessing it's from Victoria. Yes, I've seen it's Victoria. Um, to be honest with you, obviously, yes. The answer is definitely yes. You know, where you're in that phase where you're in a classroom full of thousands of people doing the same thing as you're doing, and you're just like, okay, how am I any different from everybody in here? So, analyzing that aspect for me, I sat down and I used to look at everyone in my class and I'm like, okay, what makes me different from everyone who's here? Like, what's the point of all of us doing the same thing? So I don't know, it just put me on that path of just wanting to be different. Like, I just didn't want to be ordinary or to be mediocre. I wanted to do something that would be, distinguished from everybody else, because we were all in the same class, we're all doing the same thing. So what makes you different? So I just started looking into other aspects, just trying to find my purpose here in life. So for me, it was just about sitting down and analyzing and asking God, okay, which direction should I go in? Because I just don't want to be like everybody else. You know what made me not to be everybody else was the fact that I saw a quote by Will Smith. He said that the road to mediocrity is often achieved. Okay, when you're realistic, he said being realistic makes you travel a road to mediocrity. So he said, the only people that have achieved greatness in this life are those that were bold enough to be unrealistic. So from that quote, it's been on my mind thinking, okay, there's a point right there. For you to be great, it means you have to be a little bit unrealistic at some point. He even gave an example of Thomas Edison. He said, back then, before the light bulb was created or invented, walking into a room and flipping a switch on was something that was unimaginable, very unrealistic in nature. But Thomas Edison didn't think so. He always thought that it's something that can actually happen. He believed that it can actually happen. He was crazy enough to believe that it can happen. He also gave an example of the Wright brothers. I'm sure it was very unrealistic to think that you could fly people over in metal and they won't sink to the ground. But the Wright brothers didn't think so. And there we have airplanes being invented. So he was like, you have to be unrealistic to be great. So for me, I just started having one prayer now and saying that, Lord, I want to be great. I do not know how, and I don't care how crazily unrealistic it will be, but I just want to achieve something great and be able to change lives in a positive manner. So I feel I was at that point at a point, and I was there. I was being as realistic as everyone else, everyone else being realistic and saying, oh, you get your pharmacy degree, you go do your intern, you work and you move on with your life, get married, what. That's a very okay kind of life. I love it. It's very enjoyable, seems very comfortable to me. But then if you want to do even a little bit more, if you want to go the extra mile, Victoria, you have to be a little bit unrealistic, and people will laugh at you for being unrealistic. But trust me, it will take you places that they have never even been to. And they will even be like, Victoria, that girl that you hear about saying Victoria, that's my friend. I knew her from the back in the days when she used to sound crazy, but now she's big, so she's doing big things. So this is my friend. You know, even your enemies will call you their friend because you just decided to be unrealistic and you didn't care what they have to say about you. So get to a place where you don't care what people say about you. Try to be a little bit unrealistic and always know that you achieve great things if you just try to be just a little bit unrealistic. But don't go around creating unrealistic things that only exist in movies, but try to think of a realistic approach, but something that has like an unrealistic goal. And you find that, or just take, or in short, what I can say is take calculative risks. You know, don't just take a risk without calculating the impact. Calculate the impact and take that risk. So that's all I can say for now.
Wow, so good. Be unrealistic. Take calculated risks. Thank you so much, Florence. We have learned a whole lot. I personally have learned a whole lot. I have learned a whole lot. Yes, so does any other person have any question, or would any other person like to share what they have gained so far? Yes. So while we do that, I just remembered another way by which I reboot. I remember that earlier this year I had set out to reboot technically. While I set so many audacious goals, I had actually set out to intentionally reboot. So I think that effective reboot should also be intentional. You should decide to do it. Make sure you plan it while you go about those big things. Plan to relax, plan to rest. And one way I plan to do that this year was to actually do something that I enjoyed. I actually set out to visit arts an art theater or an art center this year. I plan to do that because I enjoy art. I enjoy seeing people's artistic expressions. It just makes me excited and it just relaxes me basically. So I should even mention that I went to two art centers this year. So it's just my own way of relieving the stress and just helping myself to reboot. It could be another thing for you. You just need to identify what makes you feel better, what makes you re-energized, what helps you do whatever you do in a better and more effective manner. Yeah. So, if there are no questions at this time, I would like to thank you once again, Florence. We have had a thoroughly, thoroughly interesting time with you. So engaging. You were just giving us light bulbs left, right, center, quotes left, right, center. So many fire thoughts, fire opinions. Wow. So good. So good. Such a pleasure engaging you tonight. Florence, thank you so much for being audacious. Thank you so much for being a trailblazer. Thank you so much for being zealous, for being so passionate about everything that you do. And we can only wish you well. We pray that by God's grace, you will even exceed your greatest aspirations. And yes, you will keep making your mother proud. You will make the pharmacy profession proud. And of course, you'll make yourself proud as well. Thank you so much. Florence, thank you so much. Precious is saying, "Oh, you're amazing, Ma. I learned so much." Good. That's so good to know. That's so good to know. So as we close, I would just like you to give your final words, Florence, as we close, and then maybe how the participants can reach you if they want to reach you. I should also add that Florence was one of our mentors in the last cohort. Yes, she was one of our mentors in the last cohort. So, Florence, closing statement as well as how the participants can reach you if they need to reach you.
All right. Closing remarks. I just want to say thank you so much for this opportunity because I've gotten to speak to Nigerians as well, which is really exciting for me. Well, we've shared different experiences with each other, different cultures, different opinions, and we've just really gotten to unite on a platform like this one. And I am so grateful, and I hope we get to see each other physically at some point because this online thing has taken the the aspect of physical interaction. But thank you so much. I'm really grateful to each one of you. For you to still be in the meeting, it means that it meant something to you, and I'm really grateful that you got to stay and you got to learn something new. And I'm glad I also got to learn something new from you guys as well. And I'm just really grateful for this opportunity, and also how people can reach me. So number one, the most professional way I feel we should do things is LinkedIn. I hope you're all on LinkedIn. So on LinkedIn, you find me as Florence Jedidiah Mulenga. Let me just type that in the chat. So Florence Jedidiah Mulenga is my LinkedIn name. It's my Instagram name. It's my Twitter name. It's my Facebook name. It's okay, so I've typed it in the chat box. So it's Florence Jedidiah Mulenga. So LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. And then I just recently opened my YouTube channel where I post the interviews that I do for Beyond and Above. Even the interview with Vusi Tembekwayo is there as well. So my YouTube channel is also Florence Jedidiah Mulenga. So everything is just Florence Jedidiah Mulenga. I try to keep it consistent so that people can keep up with the name. But thank you so much. God bless you all. You're amazing. And I can't wait for 5 years from now, because I know I'll be hearing great inspirational stories from you guys as well. And I hope this will be the start of something great, and I hope to learn from you as well. Thank you so much. Thank you, Taiwo, for the opportunity. I'm grateful.
Thank you. You're more than welcome, Florence. Thank you so much. Do take good care of yourself. And I look forward to seeing you, meeting you physically. I know we've been engaging a lot virtually. I look forward to seeing you physically very soon. Thank you very much, everyone. Do have a fantastic night rest. Goodbye.